What's up, everyone? All right, so in today's episode, I'm going to break down my trades from the day. I broke the streak. I had two no trade days in a row, Tuesday and Wednesday. Today, Thursday, got some trades. In fact, I got 8 trades. Once I broke the ice, they just kind of, next thing you know, I was actively trading again, like I know what I'm doing. And out of those 8 trades, I had 6 winners, and I'm finishing up $12,175.53, which is 2 times the cold market daily goal. Cold market daily goal is $5,000 a day. Hot market daily goal is $20,000 a day. So half the hot market goal, 2 times the cold goal. I think that's pretty good, especially considering I had 2 no trade days in a row. I wasn't expecting much. I was hopeful, but I also recognized that, Thursday, Friday, and then we've got the Labor Day weekend coming up. So this is going to be a long weekend. And by the way, we do have a sale going on at Warrior Trading for those that haven't checked it out. That's a sale on our Warrior Pro membership. So for those of you guys that want to spend the fall studying with me and learning a little bit more about what it means to be a trader, we've got our Warrior Pro curriculum that you guys can check out. It actually includes a full year of access to my broadcast and our chat room and community. And so you'll have access to all the classes and everything else. But anyways, you check that out if you're interested. There'll be a link pinned to the top of the comments and posted in the description. But given that we're coming to the end of the month and summer, sort of slowed down here, trading has slowed down, I've had low expectations for the week. In fact, my biggest goal for the week is just to survive, to try to get through the week without making a big mistake. And, so it wouldn't surprise you that last night I had a bad dream about trading. So what happened in my dream? Interesting. So last night I had a dream that, and it was one of the last dreams I had before I woke up, that a stock came up on my scanner and I basically must look sort of micro pullback, pulled it up and very quickly tried to jump in. And in my dream, I was clicking the buy button, press, 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 press. But nothing was happening. And I was like, what's going on? Press, 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 press. Nothing is happening. I've got 0 shares, 0 orders are showing. Just, it's like not responsive. And then I kind of like look away and look back, and all of a sudden I see it going like, like I'm loading up shares and I can't stop it. And all of a sudden, like I can't see very well. Like I'm not wearing my glasses. And I was like, wait a second, what's happening? And I couldn't sort of navigate and find the mouse. And I was like, oh no. So I woke up, drenched in sweat. I was like, oh my gosh, that was terrible. And so I felt nervous about today, thinking that I really just don't want to get smoked here towards the end of the month. So I looked at my phone. I can, of course, when you're a member at Warrior Trading, you've got access to the software. You can log in on your phone and you can see the scans. So even when I was still in bed, laying down, I pulled up the scans and I saw that there wasn't really much that looked great. So I was like, all right, well, whatever, might be another no trade day. But, as I said, I took an oath to show up every day. And so I will. And so I did. And I sat down. And as I sat down, I saw SPRC right at 6:45 popped up on a merger approval. So it ended up coming all the way back down. But at 6:45, it pops up. And so here's the chart. So we're going to get dialed in on this stock because this is the first one I traded. Okay, so initially it pops up right here and then it pulls back. Now it's not even 7 a.m. It's still pretty early. I'm actually going to pull up the 10-second chart, which I really find gives me a bit of a strategic sort of advantage because I can kind of see the pullbacks a little bit more clearly. So this pops up, pulls back, pops up, pulls back, and then pops up here to about the high of 614 and then dips back down here to the low of 555. So it's got a little bit of a bigger spread. It's got some volume though. And here's what I'm looking at. This is a stock that has a 500,000 share float. Number one. The price is between, $3 and sort of $8, which is really the sweet spot where I can do really well. It's the leading percentage gainer in the entire market, at that moment, even though, that wasn't saying much because the market, generally there wasn't a lot going up, but it was 45% gainer. It's a stock that has a lot of room to the 200 moving average on the daily and has a reverse split back here in July where it hasn't had like a big volume and then drop. So, the daily chart looks good. It's got a news headline. The float is very low, 500,000 shares. So everything really checked out for this being a pretty good quality stock. The only sort of exception is that this market hasn't been that strong. So how well will it work? And I wasn't sure. But I had the chart up, and now at this point I pulled up the level 2, and I connected this low and this low right here. So this right here is 6:57 a.m. and these 2 points dipped, and then right here it dips down to that low right there, and that low was about 586. It dipped there, and I took a starter at 592 and added at 598, 601, and 605, which was basically adding right in here. So it dipped down, and I bought starter on the dip and then started adding. And as it popped up, I kept adding. And next thing you know, sorry, this is glitching out on me a little bit. I will say that the Starlink has been good. It's been really good this year. Not perfect, but pretty darn good. So anyways, I ended up adding in this candle, and it squeezes up through 620. It broke this high here, goes all the way up to just under 650. And I took some profit off the table, and I was up about $3,500. It dips down. I bought the dip. It pops up. I took the profit, another $500. Now I'm up 4,000. It dips down again. It breaks this level. I add right there. It pops up to a high of 670. Does a pullback. I add on that pullback. And on this squeeze right up here, I'm taking profit, and I'm out with $12,604.92. I did get back in right up here, and I stopped out with a $500 loss. So that's where I sit at $12,604.92 on the stock. And then I said, all right, hands off. Let's see if it can hold up. Because at that point, it was pretty extended on the 5-minute chart. And the 1-minute chart was also fairly extended. So I said, let's let it pull back and see if it can hold. The MACD then went negative. So I said, it's going to take a little while now. And then it broke VWAP, so I got no additional trades. And then it just kind of slowly started unwinding back down and ended up giving back pretty much the whole game, which is disappointing. Certainly compared to THAR and some of these other names that have held up better as the day's gone on or have continued higher. But it is what it is. It had news. It was moving up. And so I traded that volatility, and I got some profit on it. THAR also popping up a bit today. It's another kind of first daily candle to make a new high after this pullback, same as what we had right here, actually. But a lot of resistance at 650, popped and dropped right there. So you got that kind of rejection candle, which I never like. So didn't take any trades on that one. But I did break the ice on STSS, which I had said yesterday, I was kind of had a little bit of FOMO that I'd missed it. And then this morning, this thing rips from 16 right here straight up to 18 and 19. I bought the dip. It taps 19. It pulls back. I did a dip trade at 18.85. Comes up to a high of 19.20, 19.22. I took half, 3/4 off the table. Then it doesn't hold 19. I sell a little bit more, and I'm still holding 1,000 shares as it drops all the way down here to 17. And then it pops back up, and I sold the rest of that for a loss. So I went from green on it to red by $429, which was a bummer, but not the end of the world. And then as we got closer to the open, there was really nothing else that looked good, and so I didn't take any more trades. So at this point, I'm sitting today green on 6 out of 8 trades. That's pretty good. That's fine. I can't complain about that. There's nothing wrong with that. But total profit of 12,000 is good. So in terms of kind of big picture of where I sit on the month, I'm a little over $100,000 on the month of August. Let's see. So we'll back this up here. All right. So we're going to clear that out. We're going to just do this month here. Boom. So started this couldn't have been a worse start to a month. I mean, really, it's like absolute worst. But I pulled it together. And so I went into the red, rallied back into the green, and now I'm sitting at 104,000 before today's profit. So it'll be like 116,000 on the month. That's decent, and in all regards, that's decent, except when you compare it to my profit from last month. And when you do that, it doesn't feel quite as decent. It doesn't feel quite as substantial. So, this has been the year so far. January, February, slow in March. April, May, June, a little slower in July, and then a lot slower in August. So September, I really hope that I can at least hold the August level. And then what I'm hoping to see is this kind of like, sort of move like this, where I get another strong finish to the year, which seasonally would make sense because usually that's how it is. All right, so that's it for me. Again, if you haven't already checked out our Labor Day sale at Warrior Trading, you can just come over to warriortrading.com. I'll just go to the website. So if you come over to warriortrading.com, you got to verify, of course, you're a human. You get into that fast typing, as I sometimes do, and it's going to check you. But come over to warriortrading.com. You can go to join now. If you're kind of scrolling around, you'll probably see the button pop up for the Labor Day sale. So we've got that happening right now, and I hope you guys check it out. Would love to have you become members here at Warrior Trading. I would say, humbly, we are the ultimate home for momentum day traders. So come join us, and I'll see you guys back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk, take it slow. And remember, there's no guarantee that you'll find success, whether you trade with me or you learn on your own. So the best way to get started is to train, go slow, and practice in a simulator. All right, we'll give you a simulator that you can use as a member at Warrior Trading. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you guys back at it first thing tomorrow morning.